It's always a pleasure to connect with Lindsay and her colleagues and animal friends. Oh, Emily will be happy for sure because Emily likes goats. And so that's awesome. And we're going to turn it over to Lindsay, and she's going to tell you a little bit about where she works. And then we're going to take a virtual visit to the barns to meet some small farm animals. So over to you, Lindsay.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. I'm so excited to be joining you today. Thank you for having me, and I hope you're all having an awesome day so far. Um, so, as Molly mentioned, I work at the Canada Agriculture and Food Museum, which is in Ottawa, Ontario. And just let me share with you. Screen. Not showing. Sorry about that. So let's hope today that the sound works. Can you bigger now? I can't see the chat bar potentially.
Sure can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful barn.
Perfect. So this is just to give you a quick outside view of one of our beautiful barns at the farm. And I wish I could be at the farm to give a live tour with you all. But unfortunately, to keep our farmers and all the people who are caring for our animals safe, we're trying to reduce the amount of people. So we want to um, reduce the risk. So I'm not actually allowed to go on site, but I got one of my friends to take some super cool videos behind the scenes of some of our small animal chores. So let's see if they work. The first animal that we're going to see has some wings and some webbed feet. So if I were to have webbed hands in between all of my fingers here, I would have skin. Any ideas? Ooh, I see some answers. Good job, Charlotte and Hoffman. Ducks is correct. Hopefully the videos are working. So here's a quick view of our 4 ducks. We have 3 females and 1 male. And then fingers crossed the sound works. So listen closely. So every time we do chores, we let them out so they can wander around. No sound, that's okay. So they can wander around and explore a bit. You can see they're pretty excited to go out. How is the video quality? Are we just seeing clear pictures?
No sound and it's choppy.
Okay. So let's show you what our ducks eat. So this is in their pen right now. And this is the duck food. So an up close view here of some pellets that they eat. So this has everything the ducks need. They find it super yummy. And this is them drinking some water that's not so clean. So every day we do try to give them some fresh, clean water and maybe a little shower here. Ducks love water. Also, I forgot to mention, throw your questions in the chat at any point. I love questions. And you can stop me at any point, and I can answer your question. So as mentioned, we give them some fresh, clean water, and they're already excited. You can see them poking their heads out. Fresh water. Now, any questions about the ducks? Also, what we would do, so we saw what we'd feed them. So every day somebody's coming in to feed the ducks and give them fresh water and clean their stall a bit, getting out any of that duck poop and getting it out. Any questions about the ducks?
They want to know what's actually in the duck food.
That's a great question. So it's a mixture of protein, fat, and fiber, and some vitamins and minerals, all compacted into those little pellets. Great question. Any other questions about the ducks? You know what? I thought of something. You pick out, let me see if I can get a clear, okay, this one kind of does show it. Can you guess which one is the male duck? So which one is the boy duck? Oh, great question, Jordan. They don't have names, but the start play is the male duck. So as I said earlier, we have 3 females and 1 male. Somebody gets the purple one. Now, so somebody gets the white one. So I think if you meant the purple one as the one in the middle there, that's kind of grayish white, you are correct. So the way to tell is to look at their tail feathers. Can you see this clear picture of their tail? See how the gray kind of white one has, or purple, I like that color too, has some curled tail feathers. So only the male ducks will have curled tail feathers. And they'll have a curled tail feather for each year. And then the females, you can see they have a nice smooth tail. Questions about the ducks before we move on to our next animal friend?
I think they're good, but Lindsay, it looks like you're sharing your whiteboard.
Oh, really? Okay. Good to
So
know.
maybe stop sharing again. Yeah.
How about now?
Mm, yeah, yeah, we can see the next thing. Okay, good.
And now it's just the full screen of our rabbits, correct?
No, we don't have a full screen. So maybe if you stop share
Okay.
completely. Aw.
Sure.
Okay, and then reshare and then application. Yes, it's coming. There we go. Perfect. Yep. Got it.
All right. So let's just try to back up there so you get the full tour of the rabbits here. So you can see in the corner here we have Quinny, the gray and white rabbit, popping out there, and who's sharing a pen with Maple, the little white rabbit in the corner there. And over on this side, we have Leo, the white rabbit, and Celeste is the gray rabbit who is very good friends with Leo. You can see they are side by side now. And then this is Alfred. Alfred is our biggest rabbit. He is a Flemish giant rabbit. So if you can see my arms here, he would just fill my arms. That's how big he is when I'm holding him. So what do our rabbits need? So when we do our rabbit chores, do you see anything in the pen here that we might need a refill every day? So that water, some of the times it looks like this one. So we have different types, but every day we refill it with fresh water to give to Alfred. And then you can write in the chat, what else would we need to do for our rabbit chores? Food, yes. So, what is underneath Alfred? So Alfred is sitting on a nice big pile of something to eat. Yeah, so we give them clean hay, as you said. So sometimes it does get dirty, so we'll give them fresh hay. And Alfred knows the routine, so he actually gets to go out when we're cleaning his stall. He'll go out in this alleyway and hop around. If you want to hop around at home like a rabbit, go for it. Let me see your rabbit hops. Nobody else can see you, so you can jump as high as you think you want to jump. And so you can see eating some fresh hay. There you go, buddy. And he also gets some pellets similar to the ducks, but very different. So we wouldn't feed him the same as the ducks, but it just looks the same. So let's see if I can get a close up of his food. So that's his empty bowl, and then we're going to give him some fresh rabbit pellets. You can see it looks very similar to the duck food, but it would have different portions of that protein and that fat that I was talking about. So it would be specifically made for the rabbits. And we also want to clean up some rabbit poop. Keep their pens nice and clean. Some rabbits have a special spot that they go to the bathroom in. What happens to all the animal poop? Great question. So we put it in, there's actually a secret door that opens up and we dump it all in there, and then it's like a magic carpet that brings it all outside to the manure pit. So this is almost like a litter box, and some rabbits will go in that specific spot, much easier to clean. Now this little house we call a hutch. And in the wild, burrows underground, so dig tunnels underground to help them feel safe. So we put a hutch so they can feel safe, almost like in the wild. So Leah's going to show you inside his hutch. Sorry, I missed that last comment. Do you know how I can see the comments all?
You should be able to click on comment. There's a little comment icon. If you hover at the top of your screen where you're sharing, you should be able to click on chat.
Perfect.
That work? Okay.
Yes. So, perfect. I think I'm caught up then. Any questions about the rabbits?
Or comments. Oh, Charlotte and I would want to know why are they all friendly?
That's a great question. So a lot of our rabbits are very friendly because we handle them. So we pick them up and we pet them every day. And actually, I do have another video to show you. How do you build the hutches? That's a great question. So you can see here, if you see my cursor, there's just basically 4 pieces of wood and then kind of a plastic part on top. So I didn't make this, but somebody at the farm did, and it's pretty easy to make. You just have to make sure there's an entrance. And then the bottom, there isn't a bottom to this little hutch. So there's just a roof, but there's no bottom. So you can just sit it right on top of all the straw in his pen here. Let me just try next. And do they have different colors of ears? So they do. So depending on the breed of rabbit. So as you can see, all of our different rabbits there, they have different colors. Leo has different colors on his ears. So that's just his breed of rabbit. So let's show you. Oh, we'll show you inside. I think, there we go. Leo's inside now. You can see, do rabbits make noises? We can't hear anyways, but would we hear a lot from the rabbits?
Has anyone ever heard a rabbit?
Oh, so this is Celeste getting some nice pets. You're right, you could hear them eating, munching on some food a little, if you listen really closely. They don't make noises like a lot of the other animals. So they would maybe move their whiskers and their nose a little like that. Any other questions about the rabbits before we move on to our next animal? So our next animal has wings and a funny looking red thing on their head. Any guesses? What could our next animal be? Good job. Chickens is correct. So our Serama chickens. So are actually really small chickens, about this size. And in here we have 3 chickens and we have 2 hens, so 2 females and 1 male. Can you tell me, how do you know which one is the rooster, the male? He's louder and bigger and more colors. Good job, guys. And the rooster has a bigger thing on his head. Yes. So that part on their head is called a comb. So you are correct. The roosters have a bigger comb. So we have to give the chickens more food as part of their chores.
And Gabby says that the male has a gobbler.
You mean the part underneath?
Is that what you mean, Gabby?
Yeah, good job. So those are called wattles. You're right that the rooster will have a much bigger wattle, or 2 wattles. And let's see if I can pause it. Oh, let's play it again. The hens will have you can almost not see their wattles. You see her there? Pause it. There. Oh, blurry.
Is that spelled W-A-T-T-L-E?
W-A-T-T-L-E, yes. That's correct. And in their pen, we also have a bucket of sand. And this is actually so they can have a bath. Seems silly that they would want to clean themselves with sand, but they put it all in their feathers and then they rub it all in and shake it all out, and it actually takes out the dirt as the sand's falling out. For other animals, we need to give the chickens fresh water. They're very curious. They lay lots of eggs. Great question. So the two hens, the two females here, they will lay little tiny eggs, so smaller than the ones that we would buy from the store. I know, sorry, it's glitchy. Is it at least paused at a clear image right now?
It is, yeah.
Okay. So let's take a look. So yes, their eggs would be, if you can see it in my screen, that small about. And they don't lay as many eggs as regular laying chickens. Regular chickens lay about an egg a day almost. So they don't lay as many eggs. Sometimes they will lay eggs for a few weeks and then take a month off of not laying anymore. Any other questions about the chickens? Let's just see. I need to get back to my other screen here. So this that they have is pretty special. They just push on that silver bead and the water comes out. And of course, we also need to clean out the chicken poop. And as I mentioned earlier, is one of our manure pits outside. So some of the barns have this cool conveyor belt, the barn cleaner, that will bring it all into this pile. Then for the smaller animals, we just dump it in. Oh, I think that's it for the chicken chores. Any other great questions? Before we move on, what do they eat? So we fed them some chicken scratch. So for these chickens, we wouldn't want to feed them as big of pellets as the ducks and the rabbits got. So if you remember the feed that we gave them, I could go back to it if you want. It's almost like crushed up. And it would be that same protein and fiber and fat that just specifically chickens would need. Oh. Stressing out, but in their feeder there, you can see it's very small little pieces of food for them. You can make the chicken noises. Does anyone know the sound that a rooster makes? You can type it out if you know how to spell it. But it's like a, yeah, that's a chicken noise. Good job. So the chickens will make more of like a buck, 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 buck. And then you're right, the rooster will make like a cock-a-doodle-doo. Why do roosters crow in the morning? That's a good question. Do you know what? They don't only crow in the morning. Sometimes when they're wanting to protect, or if they feel like their hens are in danger, they might crow a little, do their cock-a-doodle-doo. But in the morning, I think it's just to let everyone know that they're awake, let them know that they're in charge. Awesome. Are we ready for the next animals? Do you have chicks? We don't have chicks at the farm right now. So honestly, we would have. So usually around Easter, we would have got lots of chicks. But because we were closed, we didn't get any chicks. So depending when we do reopen again, we might get some. But right now we don't. Although those chickens, the Cerama chickens, do kind of look like chicks. They're really small. Right, so we are going to see the sheep and goats now. Two lambs there, the mom sheep. Yay. And here's a full out view to see they do like to share some pens. So in this sheep pen, you can see there's a goat. And then lots of sheep just relaxing. And so sheep have wool. So this was kind of a show of their wool. Now this is on a lamb. So their wool isn't even really that long or thick yet, but you can still see, maybe if you look closely, all the little curls. And the goats, they love to say hi. They love attention. This goat is wanting some attention. And let's zoom over to see some more baby goats. So our lambs and baby goats, does anyone know what a baby goat is called? There's a special name for it. They're about, yes, good job, a kid. So our lambs and our kids are all about 2 or 3 months now. So they're all born in the spring. And we see a lot of twins and triplets. So it's very common for the sheep and goats to have twins. So you can see those two twins sitting in the manger. They love to put their feeder there. It's pretty silly. Now these animals here, any guesses? Do you think it's a sheep or a goat? The kid is hopping up trying to say hi. A llama? Nope. Let's take a look at their tail here. So we got some sheep guesses, sheep goat. So because her tail is pointed up instead of down, this means she's a goat. So that's how we can kind of tell the difference. So this is actually an Angora goat. You're right, it looks a lot like a sheep. It looks like it has wool, no hair. And let's take a look at what we need to feed our goats. Does this look familiar? What did we feed Alfred? Yes. So we give the sheep and goats lots of fresh hay. They love that. It's kind of greenish, grass and other plants like alfalfa maybe. And then they also have a special feed for the sheep and goats as well. So again, that would be different things that we know the goats need and the goats and sheep need for energy. Like you can see little corn pieces in there, maybe oats. You can see them chowing down. Why do they have tags on their ears? That's a great question. So we don't actually have names for all of our sheep and goats, but to help identify them. So sometimes humans will put, name tags on. So we put tags on their ears. So it has a number so we can identify them. So we know who is who, basically. Sheep. Now, it might not show if it's just a bunch of pictures for you, but they are chewing their food a lot. So this is what we call ruminating. So they are actually chewing, 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 and then they're going to swallow their food, and then they'll bring it back into their mouth, regurgitate it, and then chew it again, and then swallow it. So they'll eat their food more than once. Let's take a close-up look at this mom goat. And you can see her big udder here. So goats and sheep are mammals, so they give milk to their babies. So this kid here will drink milk from that mom's udder. Oh, here's a picture of the little baby drinking milk. Pretty cute. What do the mom goats and sheep drink? Do they drink milk too? Good job.
Emily says they drink water.
Yes. So they do a fresh supply of water. We don't have to give them water because they have a cool water fountain. So they press on that red thing and then the water comes out for them.
And Charlotte and Isaiah want to know, Lindsay, if at other times when we're not at home, are families allowed to visit the farm?
Yeah. So normally, that's what's cool about our farm is we are a museum. So you would be able to come and visit the animals. So right now you can see where the lambs are running in that hallway. That's where the visitors would be able to walk and they would be able to go and pet the sheep and goats. And now pretty soon the sheep and goats will go outside. We were just waiting until it was warmer in Ottawa. So that's where the farm is located in Ottawa. So for now, we give them some exercise, running in the aisle. The lambs love to jump and run around. Hopefully, I will be allowed to go back soon and maybe do a tour live with you.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm. All right, any questions about the sheep or the goats before I show you another quick animal? I know we're getting tight on time there, but
who eats the most? Do you mean of all the animals, Charlotte and Isaiah? Of all the animals.
Of all the animals? I would have to say of all the animals at the farm, the cows. The cows definitely eat the most because they are producing a lot. So they're making a lot of milk and they need a lot of energy for that. So the cows are fed 7 times a day. They get like 4 snacks of hay and 3 other times they get corn silage. And then I saw the other question, if the animals are out, how do the people walk? So you're right. So this is just a special kind of behind the scenes when there aren't people at the farm, the animals get let out into that alleyway. So typically the animals would be in their pens. So I just have a quick video to show you of piglets drinking milk from their mom. If I can get back, sorry.
And do you shave the sheep? Good question.
Good question, yeah. So also in the spring, we would, before going outside, we would shear them. So that's what we call shaving the sheep. There's a special word for it. We call it shearing. And so we would do that usually in the spring before they go outside, just because they don't need a big winter coat when they're outside. So we would shave off all of their wool, and it doesn't hurt them. It's just like getting a haircut, or if you've ever shaved your head, it's just like that. And then we can use that wool to make things like clothing, hats, mitts. Great question. All right. So, video. So these piglets are drinking milk from their mom right now. And you can see how many piglets there are. So a mom pig will have about 8 to 12 piglets in a litter. So when she has piglets, she could have 8 to 12. And just saw that question. How do they get the bits of hay and junk out of their wool? Yeah. So of course, before we would want to make clothing with that wool, we would want to wash it. So you would just wash it with like a soap and water. And then there's actually another step where you're actually going to want to brush out the wool, and it's called wool carding. So you're going to try to brush out all the little fibers so they're straight, and then you can spin it or felt it into something to make other objects with, like our hats or mitts. Mm-hmm. Is it hard to felt wool? That's a good question. It depends, I guess, what you wanted to felt. So if you wanted to just felt a little snake or a bracelet, it's not very hard. You just take the wool and then you add warm water with soap. So you dip it in and then you just kind of roll it between your hands, roll, roll, roll. And depending how tight or strong you want that felt to be, you could do it for maybe about 5 minutes, longer if you want it to be really strong. And again, it depends how big it is. Hot or cold water? Yeah, so you would want hot water, warm water. Like you don't want it to be too hot that you can't touch it, but pretty hot, warm water for felting. That's why if you have ever had like a wool sweater or something that's 100% wool, and if you ever wash it in the washing machine with hot soapy water, then it might actually felt it. So when you come out, it might have shrunk your sweater and it'll be really tight and strong. Any kind of soap? Yeah, usually we use like dish soap. But I haven't, to be honest, tried it with other soaps. I would assume it would work with other liquid like hand soaps. Have no hair. Yeah, so the piglets, you're right. So you can see the mom has hair, and the piglets, they have really, really small, fine hairs that we almost can't see it in this picture. And then as they grow, their hair would grow longer. Yeah, great questions. So I had, how do the piglets stay warm? So usually in their pen, so in this picture, it's kind of hard to see, but in the corner here, we actually have a light for them to sleep under. So they would all huddle under the warm light, and that's how they would stay warm. You're right, because they don't have hair yet to keep their bodies warm, and they're so little. Okay. So I have one more video of just some other animals to show you. Here is our turkey, little curious turkey hen. And this is Yanni, the alpaca. You can see his crooked teeth and his big eyes. And this is Ethel Ann, the donkey. Eating her lunch right now. And then beside her is her baby, Florence, who's now over a year. Yes, I saw that question. So I will answer it just once we've done visiting these animals. So this is Florence. We gave her a little pet. And then at the end here, we have the bull, Hercules. So we can see how big Hercules is. He's also eating in the corner there, and his pen is where we put his food. Okay. Yeah, he's pretty big, eh? So let me just stop sharing, and then we can ask a bunch of questions. Now you can see me big, and I can see the chat. So how are they pink like flamingos? And why is the mother brown? So pigs, depending who the mom and the dad is, they might be two different breeds, so two different colors, and then the piglets could be either of those colors. Who got to name Hercules? So we bought Hercules, and he already had that name. Pretty cool. What's the hardest animal to take care of? That's a tough question. I would say the most work would be the dairy cows, because we have to milk them twice a day. And as I said, they eat so much. And then the easiest would probably be those small animals that we saw. So the rabbits and the ducks, they're pretty happy if you give them food and water. It's pretty easy once, like 2 times a day, to give them that, and they're happy. How do they train you? So me specifically, do you mean at the farm? Okay, yes. So when I first started at the farm almost 10 years ago, we got a training with the animals, how to handle them. So that means how to hold them and how to be around them so that we don't get hurt or the animals don't get hurt, right? So if I'm picking up a rabbit, you want to pick up the rabbit the right way. Or if I'm around the cows, you need to know how to be around the cows so you don't get hurt. So I would wear proper shoes. So I wear steel toe shoes when I'm around the animals so that if they step on my feet, I don't get hurt. How old do you have to be to volunteer at the farmer work? Great question. Usually high school students can volunteer at some of our festivals. So where we need more help with activities. We do like that our volunteers be bilingual, so French and English, because we are in Ottawa, we're a national museum. Our visitors are half and half French and English, so as to work there, I need to be bilingual, and the volunteers usually do as well. What happens to the goat and the cow milk? Great question. So the goat milk, we don't milk our goats for their milk. So the babies, the kids will drink their milk, and then they'll just dry up whenever the baby's done needing milk. But the milk, the cow's milk, if anyone lives near Ottawa, you could be drinking our milk. So every 2 days, a milk truck comes to pick up our milk, and it gets brought to the factory and then processed to the store. So our milk is sold at the grocery stores. How old are some of the animals? That's a great question. So Alfred, for example, is around 9 years old. So some animals live longer than others. The horses would be the oldest animal on the farm. So some of our horses are 25 years old. So it just depends on the animal. What is the barn name or brand name? So we are called the Canada Agriculture and Food Museum. So those are all of our barn names. And then the barns do have kind of specific names. Oh, for the milk. So it's kind of tricky. It's usually whichever factory is closest to us. So we don't actually know for sure. So I know in the past we've said like Nilsson Dairy, but it could be other local dairies around here. Awesome, I love these questions. And as I mentioned, perhaps we can do another tour to give you an inside view of the dairy barn one time, or some of our larger animals. My favorite animal? Ooh, that's such a tough question. I do love the goats because they're so playful, and also the alpaca.
Well, that would be great to see them live, and hopefully you'll be able to do that in the next month or so. But we'll still connect. Yeah, we'll still be connecting over the summer. So whenever it happens, we'll be able to do that. And so thanks, Lindsay. We know that you love sharing about the animals, and they are so wonderful to see them in the farm setting, and to see all the work that's involved in caring for animals. And that goes for even if we have a dog or a cat, or, you know, in Lee's case, a snake at home, that they all need care. They need water, food, and shelter. And it's good to see that they're so well cared for, and all the things that were about them. So Charlotte and Isaiah say that was cute. It was a really cute way to end the day for us.
Thank you. I had so much fun today. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, that was great. And tomorrow, boys and girls, we're going to visit the primates. So the animals that are monkeys and lemurs and gorillas and orangutans tomorrow. And it is Fraction Friday. We have waited and waited for Fraction Friday. Fraction Friday is tomorrow. And then to end the day and the week, we're going to have a fitness workout, because we know that we're getting ready for the long weekend. And Michael Solomon will help us with a Friday workout. So it's been a great week, and thanks, Lindsay. Oh, your mom is still sore from the last one. Yeah, it was a tough one. I don't think he's going to be that hard on everyone this week. So we'll see you tomorrow for Fraction Friday, and have a great night, everyone at Connected North. Bye, Lindsay.